to...
Guys, we are here. It's the leftovers reporting from our secret location, underground, impenetrable concrete, layered with lead to protect from radiation and nuclear.
Monkeypox! Smallpox!
What is monkeypox?
Coronavirus!
I've seen that in the news.
Yeah, it's popping off. It's like another kind of viral disease, apparently. That's like, I don't even know.
Monkeypox? Did
I
someone
haven't
have
even
sex
looked
with
at
a
it.
monkey again or something?
No, I don't. I have no idea what happened. I don't know how it happened, but there's a confirmed case in Italy and a confirmed case in Massachusetts,
Wait, do you know anything about monkeypox, Dan?
I read about it last night. Apparently, it's not very infectious. It's kind of hard to get infected by it, so I don't think.
But is it like super deadly kind of vibe?
Medium deadly.
Those monkey diseases
low
are
to
brutal,
medium.
man. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it. I just said monkeypox because the government's lying to us, brother. They want you to.
we don't
They
know
want you to get
about
another
what.
vaccine. They want you to get another vaccine.
They're lying.
Turn you extra gay.
You're looking pretty meaty today, dude. You counting your micros and stuff?
My macronutrients and my micronutrients. Yeah. I mean, I've been doing that. Thank you for noticing.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean,
So what's a macronutrient?
macronutrients?
and a
Like
micronutrient?
protein, carbohydrate, and fat.
Oh, those are the
Micronutrients are like the tiny things, like
Vitamins?
vitamins and shit.
So why do they say keep? So basically, you're just saying counting my calories. So
Yeah.
because your trainer's always like, you counting your macros, and I'm like, whoa, that's like crazy science shit.
No,
But no,
not
it's just
even.
calories.
Well, the reason for that is because people want you, like your trainer is going to want you to eat a certain amount of protein.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is like bro science a little bit, but you need to eat a certain amount of protein depending on like how much muscle mass you have, lean muscle mass you have. And the simplest way to do that is usually, instead of counting like all your calories throughout the day, you just see that as like the main marker to hit, like a certain amount of protein a day.
What's your calorie intake per day?
I try to stay under 2,385 calories a day.
That's pretty low for a exercise.
Yeah, I have I think like, I don't know if it's because of like doing OMAD, 1 meal a day dieting and all this other stuff throughout
wow.
or because I'm getting older, like I have a very low
Huh.
caloric intake
Huh.
to maintain, to be at a deficit.
Wow. Do you ever feel famished? Like, dang. Like,
No,
No.
not
Okay.
at all.
Yeah, I mean, I get famished if I don't hit 3,000 calories a day. I get like, man.
I mean,
Like
you get used to it for sure. I think it's definitely training. By the way, trigger warning: eating disorder. If you have one, obviously, consult a doctor and do whatever works for you.
Yeah, count your
I'm just talking about what works for me, not as a universal rule or anything like that.
Yeah, count your macros.
I don't want people to.
With EDs.
Hasan wants bad stuff to happen to black people.
Oh my god.
Thoughts, Hasan? Do you want to respond to that?
I have no response. He got me so good, dude. I mean, it's pretty crazy if you think about it.
By the way, we're going to talk about this on Friday, but it's kind of breaking news that I haven't had a chance to dig into. But Def Noodles, if you know him, is suing Keemstar for defamation because Keemstar said he's a P word with no evidence.
What the fuck?
And admitted to making it up.
Which is what makes it actually an interesting case.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So
That's
good.
It's very difficult to sue someone for defamation in America.
Mm-hmm.
Our like, you have to literally prove intent.
You have to prove that not only did they lie about you, you have to prove that they did it with a malicious intent, knowing that it was a lie.
Yeah.
That's so hard.
Yeah.
And he might have that with Keemstar.
That's crazy. I mean, yeah, Keemstar is just like, you just point to Keemstar as a person and be like, this is malicious. And then every court would be like, you're right, actually.
Well, we'll see. Keemstar was sued once before for defamation by some DJ.
Interesting.
For claiming he was a predator or something. He actually lost that one because
he
the bar is
did?
so high. Or no, Keemstar won that one.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes with
So that's probably what galvanized. Now he's just like, I can defame anyone I want. I'm Keemstar.
Mm-hmm.
And I won the court case. Yeah.
Well, we have so much to get to, guys.
Yeah.
We have a big show here today. First of all, let's just start from the top. We got some really nice things on the docket here. George Bush, he's such a good guy. He's such a great president. George Bush, he's really reformed himself into like this gentle, sweet painter.
Oh, yeah.
And we forget that he is a war criminal.
Like he gave candy to Michelle Obama, and Ellen Ellen hangs out with him. This is Ellen's best friend, famously.
Yeah, I mean, how many? I mean, millions of Iraqis died.
Yeah.
It's absolutely pointless. Or it wasn't a pointless war. It was to literally plunder them for the vice president.
Yeah.
But here he goes. He's talking about the Ukraine, or not the Ukraine, and well, he has a little slip up.
In contrast, Russian elections are rigged. Political opponents are imprisoned or otherwise eliminated from participating in the electoral process.
Wait, can you pause it for a second before we get to the good juicy stuff? I just want to say that the irony of George W. Bush not only saying the main thing that everyone is focusing on, which we're going to get to in a second, but the irony of him saying like, oh, you know, illegal elections is how Vladimir Putin came to power. I'm like, motherfucker, that's what you did. Like your brother was a fucking governor of Florida. You guys did the Brooks Brothers riots, and obviously
he was the original stolen. I mean, verse 4.
Literally,
Yeah,
yes.
That's interesting.
Hanging chads, butterfly ballots. Look it up. I mean, Florida was a mess. Like the Jewish community voted for like a white supremacist. Supposedly, they didn't. Obviously, but that should have been the immediate inclination that like, oh, these ballots got messed up in the reader. But no.
All right, here we go. One more time now from the top. No stun lock.
In contrast, Russian elections are rigged. Political opponents are imprisoned or otherwise eliminated from participating in the electoral process. The result is an absence of checks and balances in Russia and the decision of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of of Ukraine. Iraq, too. Anyway.
I mean, he literally says Iraq, too.
75.
No,
dude, he can't, he's choking on the words. He can't even read it. He's just, he knows it's so ironic. The man, he's going to hell.
He has, if I'm not mistaken, this is not the first time George W. Bush has actually talked about the Iraq War being unjustifiable and brutal.
Like on accident?
No, not on accident. I'm trying to find it right now, but there's
he's reflected on that?
Like, I think when he's talking to Zelensky, if I'm not mistaken, I was like trying to find that earlier, but maybe it's not.
He's come to terms with the Iraq War being.
Probably not. I don't know. I feel like I've seen it before.
Well, we can look it up.
I'm trying to find it too, but because of this clip, that's like all.
Yeah, this is dominating his space. But anyway, look, whatever. It doesn't matter. He's a piece of shit who, in this, admits, even after the flub, admits Iraq too. Anyway.
Oh, is that what he said? Okay,
yeah.
Wait. Let me, bro, don't you listen to what you said? That's so fucking bad.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, let me.
He said Iraq too. By the way, this is a George W. Bush like trope. This is a staple. Like, now watch this drive. Another famous George W. Bush moment. Like, this man is famous for this. Like, he was the OG gaff guy.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, he could barely get through this pre-prepared speech. He's so used to saying Iraq. He just back it during his presidency. Every sentence was punctuated with Iraq.
Yeah.
Iraq.
I mean, that's how you justify the surveillance state apparatus that we built in the immediate aftermath of the Patriot Act, and you know, the Department of Homeland Security, which was created in the aftermath of 9/11. Like, it's wild to think. Like, you think these are like staple American institutions? It's you know,
George W.
It's a post 9/11 invention. ICE in and of itself is a post 9/11 invention. The Department of Homeland Security post 9/11 invention. These are very new things that can still be destroyed, abolished, and should be, in my opinion.
Okay, here, I want to catch the end of this.
Unjustified and brutal invasion of of Ukraine. Iraq, too. Anyway.
So, but that's such a self-report. If Ukraine is Iraq too, you're Russia.
Yes, of course.
I just want to make that very clear to.
Which is why it's always funny. Like, I always make this comparison. I'm always like, dude, Russia is straight up like Russia could get DMCA copy strike by the United States for everything that like they're doing right now and their justifications for it, including like chemical weapon usage potentially, like WMDs. It's like, come on, bro. Like you're literally
vilifying everyone that lives there as a Nazi.
Doing exactly what the American government has done in all of its unjustifiable imperial endeavors. America still continues to do that. They face no repercussions from this. Famously, for those of you who don't know, as a matter of fact, under the Bush administration, we passed the legislation called, I think it was like Protecting the American Service Members Act or something, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not getting the name right, but it's actually colloquially dubbed the Invasion of the Hague Act. Do you know what that is?
No.
That's where the International Criminal Court is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Invasion of the Hague Act, if you look this up.
Invasion of hate?
Yeah, Invasion of the Hague Act, okay?
The hate being.
It's also known as the American Service Members Protection Act, okay? Is known informally as the Invasion of the Hague Act, means that federal, state, and local governments and agencies, including courts and law enforcement agencies internationally, okay, cannot assist the International Criminal Court. For example, it prohibits the extraction of any person from the United States to the ICC. It also prohibits the transfer of classified national security information to law enforcement information to the ICC, the International Criminal Court. The act also prohibits U.S. military aid to countries that are party to the ICC.
I see at the bottom. This bill was signed into law by President George W.
This is the anti-international criminal court, like where war criminals are tried.
Yeah.
This is like the act is basically we will invade your country, we'll invade the Hague if you extract any kind of if you try to prosecute an American diplomat, an American military member, anyone, we will invade you. We will invade your country.
We haven't really held that, but I don't think that we've. It's just giving you the cause to go in there and do it because I'm sure that diplomats, get tried.
You think that American diplomats?
Does that never happen?
No, of course not. Dude, we don't even try our own war criminals in our like military trials, even after they're outed. The famous Navy SEAL example where like his own fucking platoon outed him, and they would literally tweak his scope on his rifle so he stopped killing young girls, which he was doing for fun. He like stabbed a prisoner of war that was 16 years old that was handcuffed on camera and like posed with photos with him, and then Donald Trump pardoned him. He interfered with the investigation at first, and then like literally pardoned him so he could get his fucking medals back.
Maybe John Wayne Gacy is next up to be pardoned.
I mean, who knows? It's just the reality is we are the imperial, dominant, hegemonic power. We are the #1 villains on the planet. It's just the truth. And people get super butthurt when they look at like, oh, well, what about Russia? It's like, yeah, Russia is bad. Russia is bad for invading Ukraine. They are engaging in unjustifiable acts of violence in Ukraine. I totally understand that. And the reason why I always bring it back to America is not to deflect the attention away from Russia, but it's because I'm American, okay? I'm an American citizen, whether you like it or not. And I am going to criticize my government. That's what I'm able to do. So if you get fucking butthurt or if you get upset, well, you suck me from the back, okay? Sorry. Like, that's what being an American is, right? I thought that's why these, soldiers were going to Afghanistan and dying for our freedoms, brother, and not to protect poppy fields before they get shot in the dick while protecting a poppy field.
Right. No. Yeah.
Anyway, it's deeply frustrating. Like, I want to make jokes about this. I make jokes about everything, about like all this dark shit. But I don't know, the millions of unaddressed, unexamined innocent deaths is so frustrating. Every single one of these Bush administration officials, including all those fucking dickheads that are on MSNBC every night saying, oh, we're never Trump Republicans. Like, we're actually, moderate Republicans. Like, all those dickheads should be fucking tried, okay? In a just world, they would all go to prison. They would be under the prison. Every single one of them, but they're not.
They own the prison.
Oh, yeah, they're not. They never will be. Obama fucked up by not even prosecuting the prior administration for torture, which we did. Remember, state-sanctioned torture beyond what like
That would
Norway
be
considers
nuts.
to be
Though.
torture.
That would be so nuts to if he went after.
Yeah, and there's
I mean, we need
reason for
to.
that.
We haven't even locked up Hillary Clinton, so I don't
Yeah,
even know how
you
can
can't break
focus
the
on
seal.
Yeah, once
lock
you-
her up.
Yeah, you break the seal, it's all fucking. It's all chaos.
Hillary Clinton is almost single-handedly responsible for the evisceration of Libya. Like the reason why there's open slave markets in Libya now, almost single-handedly responsible. That was another NATO action, by the way. NATO, so great, love NATO. Bombed the shit out of fucking Libya. That was cool.
They had it coming.
Yeah.
I'm just chilling in Cedar Rapids.
You don't hate, dude. Remember what Pete Davidson? He's her hero. He
Yeah, I think that's so whack. He has a tattoo. That's like
Kanye
such
got
a
him
red
with that
flag,
one.
dude.
Here is again, just some short clips at the top of the show to break the seal here. Oh, here's I always like to look at this. Pete Davidson, America's heartthrob, with a.
Like I think he's a funny dude, but that's such an insane thing. Like that is such an absolutely.
And it says, what's the caption? My hero, Hillary.
There's wanted to get Hillary Clinton a Christmas gift, so I got a tattoo of my hero. Thanks for being such a badass and one of the
How is that
strongest people
that's
in
so,
the universe.
Okay, that's so egotistical. The gift for her is a tattoo for you.
Bro, this
it's
man-
like, okay, Homer Simpson.
This
fucking
man has
buying
sex with
marzipan.
Ariana Grande. There is literally no there's nothing. Everything is broken, dude. Okay.
That bothers you more than the Kim Kardashian thing.
100%.
That's the
I love
one that
Ariana
bothers you the
Grande.
most?
I love you.
Yeah.
She's married
If
now.
you're watching.
If you're watching, it's cool.
All right, here's
Never-
Joe. Here's Joey with a banger. He's talking about, dude, I don't even know what news sources Joe Rogan is consuming to think this shit, but he is, you guys have to understand, he's consuming really fringe, weird,
Yeah, he's a
fucking,
boomer.
right-wing news headlines and regurgitating it. I mean, this is like InfoWars shit. Here, listen to this.
Oh, I want to find out what this is, but I read something briefly and I didn't get into the article. But they were saying that they were trying to pass a bill that would outlaw you growing your own food in Australia.
Oh my God.
Did
Oh
you
my
read that?
God.
Nah.
It was a part of Australia. I think it was New South Wales. Someone was trying to pass a law that won't allow you to grow your own food.
Oh my
And they were saying, well, you could grow your own food, and what if the disease is from your food? It infects the population.
I love that. Oh, he's
Oh.
pausing again. Dude,
He's-
he's so funny. Like
Dude,
what a legend in the comedy realm,
know.
dude. I love Joe Rogan's comedy.
Actually, I didn't realize, but he's a stool fucker. You
No,
know?
that is like
Yeah,
I was about to say.
that's
That's like
his whole
straight
shtick.
stool fucking
Yeah.
behavior right there.
Yeah, but the best part is he gets so deep into this bit, making
Yeah.
fun of this like, oh, look at these liberal woke morons, and then it's just fucking wrong. You got a big payoff at the end.
Oh, they pulled that card.
I want to know what their justification was, but I'm pretty sure it had to do with like agricultural contamination or, I mean, you could justify it if you're a real piece of shit. You could say, well, most pandemics have come from agriculture, animal agriculture. We can't have unchecked pig ownership. That's not fair. We can't if you're growing vegetables. What if your vegetables have ergot in them and diseases? Fucking creeps, man.
Yeah, super creepy.
Yeah, this is gonna be a really funny turning point for him coming up. But dude, his cognitive dissonance is just through the fucking roof, dude. He's so happy. He's in the pocket right now. He's like,
Right.
I'm
So-
owning the entire continent of Australia.
Fucking
Like,
wrecked,
suck me.
dude. A bunch of liberal cocks watching
Yeah.
this.
These fucking creeps, they got a good grip on people during the pandemic. They locked everybody down in Australia. And then you know what? We got to stop these motherfuckers from growing their own food. Because that's how you fucking smoke out an anti-vaxxer. Make you can't even go to the grocery store
Yeah,
anymore.
only anti-vaxxers grow tomatoes. As you know, gardening is a right-wing exclusive right-wing
And
activity.
you can't grow your food.
No, dependent.
Take that shot, bitch. Did you find anything?
Dude, I love
You are now dependent.
I love that his like first of all, obviously there has to be agricultural rules. Joe should know this. I mean, he basically admits as to why there are certain regulations
Well
on like what kind of
articulated.
pesticides you can use, especially when you're fucking Australia, like when you're a gigantic island. Okay, That's the same reason why there's like a lot of livestock rules as well. You can't like bring your pets into Australia, or if you do, they have to be like
You can't do that in any country.
you have to undergo like
Literally every country.
super strict quarantine. But Australia is like incredibly strict, more strict than other places. For that reason, he recognizes that like even if this was true, there could be a good reason for it. But he says it in like a mocking way, where he's like, "Oh, this is so stupid."
Well, he's being like, you can't even plant a tomato in your backyard anymore.
Yeah.
That's a God-given right here.
Then upon the state.
Passes bill.
I mean, I know what to look for. Nothing's coming up. The closest thing I could find was something like this. That's not
New
what
food. No,
you
it's
were
not.
saying.
It's not in New
such
Zealand.
it's
It's
such
in,
niche misinformation that they can't even find it on Google.
That's
impressive.
I'm gonna give fucking props to Jamie. I think like it's kind of like that Cheeto holding the door before the fucking cops like bust in meme. You know what I mean? Like the Cheeto deadlock. But like Jamie is literally that fucking little Cheeto piece, like stopping just incredible amounts of misinformation from flowing directly into like 90 million fucking people.
Well, he doesn't believe him. He double checks him on his phone.
It's in Australia.
I know, but this is close.
New Zealand is like right around the corner.
Could have.
It's got to be a real thing.
It's got to
Seems
be.
too good to not be.
It's obviously.
Types in outlaw growing food in Australia, and not a single thing comes up.
Dude, come on, he's short. Okay, I'm being a little parasocial here, but like, he seems a little bit short with Joe over here. It's like, it's not real, Joe.
He's just, he's probably sitting there as Joe Rogan Googles for 10 minutes trying to prove his. Where do you think he gets this niche misinfo? It must be Facebook.
100% like
So
homie.
Joe is consuming weird Facebook content. I mean, that should concern everybody.
Bro, he has like weird homies that are sending them this stuff. No,
Right.
I mean, where
Alex
the fuck?
Jones on speed dial.
It's not. I think this is not even Alex Jones. I think this is just like all of the people that he has surrounded himself with. They're all yes men. They're all terrified of him.
Right.
And they probably like, go further and further into like that conspiracy hole to like satiate his thirst for and his hunger for more misinformation.
Yeah, more approval. More. Yeah.
It's like,
Types in outlaw growing food in Australia, and not a single thing comes up.
Hold on.
Just because having
Except
a
for
good
that,
time. Yeah, his guess
was a false thing.
Growing your own food.
They want us.
yo, watch your Hotep Jesus.
completely
Oh,
Independent.
Yeah, I can't find it either.
Oh,
Damn
no.
it.
dude, what's up,
Better not be
Hotep
fake.
Jesus? What's going on? You're just gonna.
It might be fake.
But even if it's fake, right? Like the fake is usually the warning.
That's a good. Yeah, that's really insightful.
I love that. He's like
trying to save it.
Okay, Hotep Jesus is fucking fire. Okay, because I watched a bunch of the clips from this broadcast. First of all, he's insane, like literally insane. Surprised that like Joe Rogan has had him on multiple times on his broadcast. Holy shit! But I love him because he's very unique in the way that he presents misinformation. Normally, what you would say in a situation like that, if you've gotten owned by misinfo, is like, well, isn't it crazy that like it could be real? Like not examining why you thought that, but instead being like, well, that's how crazy things have gotten now. He just straight up says, nah, fake news is actually real news, but it's a warning.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
By the way, we were working
I'm a
on this
fucking moron.
war crime. You remember this old PSA? Where'd you find this weed pipe? I learned it from you, Dad.
Yeah,
Putin,
that's right.
of course, learned it from George Bush.
I mean, Putin is our guy. I mean, he is our
Thank you,
guy
everybody.
originally. He's a kleptocratic oligarch, and he is very much like the singular force of American Western plunder in the aftermath of the USSR's collapse. Right? Like these are like we didn't like him that much, but the people that we put in positions of power put him in positions of power because they thought that he would be the authoritarian strongman that will continue collaborating with the Western world and ensure that Russia prospers, but alongside American boundaries. George W. Bush, ironically,
why are they wearing the exact same suit? Is that real, or that's a Photoshop? Wait, why are they wearing the same suit?
Photo. It's not the exact same.
Bro, they look fucking identical.
I mean,
I thought someone like photoshopped his head on George Bush.
No.
Look at these besties, dude.
Yeah,
they have so much in common, to be honest. I mean, they both are billionaires from, well, Trump, Putin might be a trillionaire at this point.
Vladimir Putin.
from oil. They love oil, and they love invading and killing innocent people. Look at besties. They should be holding hands and skipping.
And they love maintaining a tight grip on a group of oligarchs that functionally control the entire government. In America, it's like distributed to more oligarchs, and the government has less power. In Russia, the government has more power, but the oligarchs have less control because it's just like it's almost singularly dealt with by or controlled by Vladimir Putin and his interests.
Isn't it rumored to be that Vladimir Putin's the richest person in the world? You say quick Google search said 70 billion. I've heard that he's the richest person in the world.
All that speculation is based on him having like secretly looted the country and having like offshore accounts.
Yeah.
Like what's publicly known is a lot less than that, but
it's pretty hard to map it out. I mean, he just has, he gives like his daughter's piano instructor like fucking 10 billion in an offshore account. You know what I mean? It's stuff like that. How are you going to track that? It's very, very difficult.
Yeah, some websites say 200 billion.
Yeah.
Good for him, man. He earned it.
Yeah, he's just working hard.
He worked harder than everyone else, and that's.
By the way, a fun fact, but part of the reason, obviously, like the lion's share of responsibility falls on Russia for invading Ukraine. But part of the reason why these conversations even began, including in Georgia in 2008 and in Ukraine in 2008, is because George W. Bush famously, on his way out, went against every single analyst that told him, don't do this, and said, we should bring in Georgia and Ukraine into NATO. We should do that. And every analyst internally was like, do not say that. That is a red line. You are going to cause a fuckload of commotion. You are going to, if NATO encroaches on the Russian border this much, Russia will retaliate. Everyone told them not to do that, and they knew full well that in order for a country to join NATO, they have to get unanimous consent. Every single country has to vote yes, right, for NATO membership. Every single pre-existing NATO country has to vote yes. Germany and France were never going to vote yes, and yet. Bush was like, no, I'm going to do that. On his way out, literally was like,
interesting.
We should start those conversations.
Well, let's move it on to our good friend, xQc, Twitch streamer. I think this is a good conversation for us to have together simply because long ago, not that long ago, we had a phone call with xQc. And who else was on that call? Trainwreck.
Trainwrecks and xQc were both on the call, yes.
About gambling on Twitch. And since then, he obviously defended the position then, but he even issued an apology. Here it is, just to tell you guys kind of where we are. So this is, from July of last year, xQc apologizes and says he wish he could take back the gambling.
Like, what more can I do? What more can I do? You shouldn't gamble on stream. You shouldn't do it. We've known this. I said it.
Oh, what is that?
Don't do it. I'm sorry for doing it. I'm genuinely sorry that I gambled on stream. Okay? I wish I could take it back. I can't. I'm trying to move on. Okay? All I'm trying to do now is at least the people that are going to be called out next, and I'm not lumped with some of the things that they do that I didn't do. Can you at least, guys, give me that? At least give me the benefit of not looking like the other cucklords? Can I at least have this? If I'm going to get shit on by everybody on the internet, can I at least have the very bottom of the barrel of not lumping me in with everybody? That's all I ask for.
Okay. Well, I would say that you have now, my friend, reached the bottom of the barrel because he's back. He is back with a huge partnership with Steak, the, of course, famous shed in Curacao. Shout out to the infamous $1 billion shed.
Yeah.
And he's back doing gambling streams sponsored by Steak. I can only imagine, God, how much are you getting paid? I mean, if Aiden Ross was getting $2 million a month, xQc is like way bigger. So
yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much he's getting paid. I'm not even going to speculate on it. I don't care about that. I don't care about like unless there's like actual legitimate proof. I don't care about like the gambling potentially being rigged. Right?
Here's the hut.
You're maliciously twisting.
This is Steak's headquarters that we found out in Curacao. This is where this huge $1 billion corporation is run from.
Yeah.
Here he is gambling.
Not suspicious. Not suspicious.
No, it's totally above
No,
board.
it's normal.
It says you. It says you. Nah, it's not what it says you, though. everybody threw us all under the bus. When the chips were down, everybody turned on us. It was a bunch of bitches. But when some streamers and some other ones, oh guys, I'm gonna Gamba. I'm thinking about Gamba. All the comments, everybody flips and like, oh dude, if it was that much money, you know, I would do it too. I respect this guy. I respect this guy. And like, people are selectively choosing and picking who they back up when if your whole motive and whatever is behind morals and ethics, you can't pick and choose. It's black or white or wrong. And I got fucking mauled. I seen people fucking being, oh, we're gonna pick this and choose it and choose that. And you know what, dude? At the end of the day, I was like, dude, I love Gamba. I like Gamba. I'm just gonna Gamba. End of story. Literally. I will just.
I mean, yeah, I haven't seen really people doing that where they're like picking and choosing. I mean.
No, there's no like, oh man, he got like, yeah, no, I respect that he like got the fucking $1 million bag there. Like, look, here's a couple different things, right? My main position since day one is that, first of all, I don't do these kinds of sponsorships. I think that they are abhorrent. I think that they're awful. Unfortunately, though, Stake and all these other like cryptocurrency initiatives and gambling in general, FanDuel, DraftKings, all of them are very popular and have basically reached legitimization because they generate so much revenue and they can like buy their way into some kind of legitimacy. So I don't even think Twitch as a platform is going to combat it or deal with it. But ultimately, the individual responsibility of a content creator is what I care about in this particular instance. Like, dude, xQc has a lot of fans who love him. They look up to him. They literally change their dialect to sound more like him because they watch him so much. A lot of those dudes are young. They're 100% seeing him gamble, and they're also getting into gamble. And it's super easy to actually join and gamble. It's hard to get money out. It's much harder to get money out, but it's really easy to put money in.
I don't think you can get money out. I mean, really, if I'm being honest, that's not.
No, you can. I mean, I know.
If you have a big, well, let me tell you something. What's so shady about Stake is that it's a crypto-only casino. Okay, that means that you don't have to put in your credit card. There's no verification process. There's literally no due diligence. In fact, we had Love, who I guess he just turned 21, but it doesn't really matter. Love, are you there?
Yes, I am.
So here, let's play this video. So we had Love sign up, make an account, and deposit money. We wanted to see how hard it was before I said, you know what? I don't want to call xQc out before I do this myself. So we had Love. Here he is signing up. I'll show you how. So name Lovebot. Okay, that's it. Verification. So the name that you put in is fake info.
Yes.
Last name fake info. There's okay, like I would say back when casinos and gambling was legal in America, there were at least like regulations, and they had a whole department dedicated to verifying credit card information, verifying that people, like you had to send in a picture of your ID before you could even play. So watch where this goes. Fake info. Residents, fake info. Okay.
That's it.
So now basically you're signed up on the casino, and then
here I'm just proving that it's the same account because it takes a while for the funds to come in.
So you're linking your crypto wallet.
Yeah, and there since I think it's illegal in Sweden, so I just VPN'd out of Sweden. Super easy there.
No problem. Everyone has a
VPN. I
yeah.
tried Canada, and that didn't work either. I switched to Romania.
Shout out Cobra Tate.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Romanian authorities are too busy with him right now, so they can't deal with the crypto gambling.
Okay, so wait, now you're connected to Romania on a VPN, right? Yes. And then
that's right.
You put in $40? How much was that? Ethereum or
14?
14.
Like 0.005 Bitcoin ish.
Okay, and then you got right at it with Razor Sharks.
What is that? That's under 60, dude. That's the 112. That's a speed run. That's it. That's congratulations.
And he's down 4, 3, 2, 1. Wow, you didn't win a single spin, eh?
That's hey, dude. Congratulations.
That's the 112, baby.
That's the 112. He did it.
Awesome.
The Mad Lad.
And you know, well, I should tell you too that most of the kids. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you when they do verify your ID when you're trying to take money out.
Yes.
Then all of a sudden,
oh,
you need to know exactly who you are, how old are you, where you live. Because if you're playing with a VPN, which probably a lot of people are, expecting to become a millionaire or something, you will never get that money out. That's part of their business.
I don't know if it's like I don't know if you can't get that money out if you're playing.
If you are a 17-year-old kid playing in California, you are gonna have to fuck you. I don't think you'll ever get your money out. Genuinely, it's part of their business. It's part of their business.
I actually literally, I can't speak on that part because like people.
You know what they do? I'll tell you exactly what they do. So let's say you win $1 million jackpot.
Mm-hmm.
Then what they'll do is say, you know what, you're playing illegally. We're just gonna return your original deposit and call it a day. That's what they do.
You know what? I want to add a thing that wasn't very clear in that video there. I was actually able to deposit money without using a VPN. And then when I went to gamble it in Sweden, they denied me to gamble. So essentially, the money was locked there until I VPN'd.
That's nuts.
That's sick. That's a good. This
crazy.
Seems like a good business.
They don't check the geolocation on the deposit. They'll take money from anywhere.
I wonder why. Well, technically, because it's not illegal to like put your cryptocurrency into a website in Sweden, but it's illegal to gamble with it, right? So obviously that's the reason.
We should try where I want to, Love, I'd be interested to see if we put in like $10 or whatever and then try to withdraw it. How easy is it?
I know for a fact withdrawals are very difficult, especially with like super large quantities of money. If you want to ever like take it out, like it becomes more of a chore, especially if you want to like cash it out. I don't think you can even do that. I mean, you need to like switch it over to a crypto wallet.
Well, Stakes, their marketing budget's insane. I mean, they're basically taking over Drake's whole social process.
Yeah.
The Nelk Boys, these are the new sugar daddies of unscrupulous influencers, basically.
Bro, here's my thing, okay? As content creators, as Twitch streamers, we are incredibly fortunate, okay? At a time when like a lot of people were suffering financially, a lot of people were unable to get work, we were able to make more money than we ever did before.
Yeah.
And I would say the same for a lot of Hollywood celebrities as well. They kept working throughout the pandemic. Or Drake, you know what I mean? You already are like a multi-millionaire. You're about to have like $1 billion. Why are you still like, how much money do you need to make off of like getting other people to gamble in your community, in your fan base, that you know it's still justifiable despite being like 100 millionaire? You know what I mean? It's wild. I don't understand it. That's why I never understood like the crypto rug pulls either, which this is reminiscent of. This is similar to. Yeah. But somehow I would go so far as to say that it's even worse than crypto rug pulls because this is a lifelong addiction that you are basically subjecting people to. It's the most suicidal addiction out there.
The deadliest addiction, they say.
Yeah, it's the most suicidal addiction. I don't know if it's the deadliest, but
that's what they. I mean, that's like I think that's like a trope about it.
It's like you don't need this money. You don't. I'm not asking people to like not take sponsorship from some like shitty companies or whatever that like everyone else is taking sponsorship money from, but this is definitely where I draw the line, especially because one, you already have a lot of money. Two, you're this filthy addiction is what you are basically promoting to your audience, and three, here's how this works. Here's how these massive casinos operate, okay? If you don't know, they are trying to cast as wide a net as possible because they know that some people are going to gamble for free for the first time. They even give you money for your first trial. Yep. The first hit is always free, like fucking, cocaine dealers. Knowing full well that there is going to be a whale in that large...
That's literally their business practice.
That's their business model. They look for whales. What are whales?
They look at lifetime earnings.
Exactly.
Right?
Lifelong gambling addicts.
And they milk them dry. They ruin their life without any... Because that's their whole business model, right?
Yeah.
Here, this is from StopPredatoryGambling.com. Gambling is the deadliest addiction. Below is one of the best analysis explaining why gambling addiction has the highest rate of unaliving of any addiction. The psychological effects of problems gambling can be extremely harmful, and the feelings of despair that come with gambling away one's money is so toxic. So the thing about gambling is that, you know, like back when it's the thing is like this is so it's unregulated. So I'm just thinking there was a time briefly I remember when I was young where gambling and poker rooms were allowed, and you could write them and say, "Hey, I have an addiction. You need to ban my IP and all my accounts and my ID."
Yeah.
And they will never let you open an account again. And they can actually enforce that because they have your ID and you need to show your ID to play. These places have no such obligation and they make no effort to have services like that where they're actually, you know, giving people an out to save their lives. You can never, if you get truly addicted to gambling, which you're very susceptible to at a young age especially, horrible for a young developing mind, they will suck you dry until you're dead, basically.
Yeah. And there are already so many anecdotes from his community. I don't know if they're like being honest or not, but there's plenty of people in his actual subreddit like posting their own personal experiences with gambling and how they started,
right,
and how much money they lost so far. And look, ultimately, this is what I always say: these companies want to make money, right? If they weren't getting a return on their investment when they're dropping $2 million into someone's bank account
every
for
month,
just doing this kind of sponsorship, if they weren't getting more than $2 million, they wouldn't drop $2 million. It's not like they're, you know, paying xQc however much amount of money that they're paying because they love losing money or they're just like big fucking juicers. They're big juicer fans. Like, no, they're doing it because they know that when xQc's slot gambling with 100,000 kids watching, okay, and adults as well, especially, but like 100,000 fans watching, out of that group of people, a certain percentage of those guys are going to convert to what is known as whales.
Yeah.
Lifelong gambling addicts, okay?
Yep.
And that number is going to be significant enough that however many millions that he will get paid for this is going to be nothing in comparison to the return. And you can see that with even like a much smaller streamer, a good friend of mine, Yasuo, who once showed his earnings, or not earnings, but the lifelong gambling, not lifelong, lifetime total gamble. Yeah, lifetime total gamble for using his code specifically. That part is actually really, really awful too. They track who your biggest losers are that used your code.
Yeah.
Usually when they have a sponsorship code, and then they give you a percentage of them.
Yeah,
they give you you buy into your audience losing money basically.
Yeah.
And he was showing that, and he had like 26 million total gambled. You know what I mean? Like, and he's not that big. He's like 5,000 people watch him when he's gambling, and he already had like 26 million total gambled. So it's like 3% of that was the monthly.
Commission.
Yeah.
Damn, that's nuts, dude. Yeah. So I mean, that's so crazy. Oh my god, it's just so bad, you guys. And it like, if this was a regulated gambling like place that had respectable laws and gambling addiction support, it wouldn't be as bad, okay? Because xQc and all these guys try to make this moral argument about like, you've done this and they've done this, and it's all the same. It's like, this is an unregulated website that everybody's promoting. They have no fucking issue taking money from kids. It's so fucked up.
No,
man.
for the record, by the way,
it's really disappointing to see him go back.
I want to point out what like my personal boundaries are in this. Like, I think that is a multiplier that makes it significantly worse, but I still personally think it's bad across the board because I think that like even with all of the rules and regulations put in place, Vegas is still a multi-billion-dollar. Gambling is a multi-billion-dollar industry across the board. Even with the physical hurdle that you need to overcome by straight up flying into Vegas, even with all of the free comp stuff that they give you if you go and gamble, it's still making a shitload of money because people go and they love gambling and they love losing millions of dollars and they keep it afloat. It's an industry.
I have no problem with what goes on in Vegas.
No, I like gambling. I personally like gambling. I do. I sometimes go to Vegas and I lose money.
Like any vice, you know. I mean,
yeah,
you can take it too far. But the problem is you don't give like 15-year-olds alcohol, and then when their mom says, "Yo, you got to stop giving my kid alcohol," you say, "Fuck you." You come.
I just would not. I like gambling personally, and I do it from time to time. But you're exactly correct. I would not like urge other people to go do it and be like, "Look how sick this is." Even if you say don't gamble, they're still going to gamble.
Yeah,
You're gonna
that's
see
the
your
dumbest thing. They go,
Yeah.
and now these guys think it justified to be like, "We say don't gamble, you will lose money." That's Trainwreck's thing. He goes, "Don't gamble, you will lose money. It will ruin your life. It's horrible." All right, guys, here's my code on the top of the screen. Trainwreck.
He doesn't do the code anymore. He used to do it, but he doesn't. I think he hid the code now. But I don't think he needs it anymore because they just pay him so much. But the thing is, demonstrably, the money has not run out on the stake side because you're not a loss leader for them. You're not even, you're giving them an appropriate return on investment to the tune of millions of dollars that your fan base is losing.
And look, I get that there's like these guys, these streamers are making millions and millions and millions of dollars every month, potentially $20 million a year just in sponsorship money from stake. That's life-changing money, obviously. But xQc and Trainwreck, these are huge streamers. I mean, these guys have huge opportunities. They're already making a ton of money. I remember last year, xQc was the top earner on Twitch.
I mean, he still is. He's the top. He has been the #1 content creator on this platform for 2 years, 3 years now, and he will probably continue to be that. He's perfectly built for streaming. He has cultivated an awesome community of people who love him. Okay, I have no problem with that. I like xQc. He's stayed at my house. I do care about him personally. Also, getting addicted to gambling because it's very clear that he has a problem. He talked with Pokimane about how he lost like $1.8 million in the course of like a couple days gambling because he's addicted. He has family members he's lost, immediate family members he's lost to this addiction, and it is also sad to see from that front as well. But that still doesn't excuse his behavior.
No, not at all.
But what you're seeing when he's debating, and I'm someone who's like dealt with addiction. Sorry for cutting you off over.
Go ahead.
Again, but like this is something that's very personal to me because I have issues with addiction as well, and it's a lifelong struggle when you are an addict. Okay, you have to constantly work against that. That's why I think it's like additionally terrifying to get people into that. It's really, really terrible as someone who struggled with it. And when you're addicted internally, you have a constant debate going on with your consciousness. Part of you knows it's wrong, and you're like, I shouldn't gamble anymore. I shouldn't gamble. It's like really bad for me. I think like nothing feels good anymore. I'm always chasing that high, that dopamine that I get from the anticipation of the reveal, not the actual wins or loses itself, by the way. It's like there's studies conducted on this. They look at your brain activity. It spikes right before the reveal. That's what you're going for. So it doesn't matter if you're winning or losing. You're still going for that dopamine rush. And you're constantly aware that like this is a bad thing. It makes you feel like shit and you're doing it, but you're debating internally. Your addiction is like winning out and debating the other parts of your consciousness basically to say, no, it's fine. Like you won a lot, you're going to keep winning actually. Or just one more cigarette, just one more drink. Like it'll be okay. And that is basically what he's doing now with 100,000 people. He's like he's done these, he's had these arguments within himself so much. And all you see when he's deflecting and defending his addiction is basically what an addict does when they're refusing to engage and refusing to like try to get better.
I think it's so unhealthy what's going on because he's playing out his addiction in front of a huge audience. And in a way, I feel like they're going to enable him. I mean, a lot of people are angry he's gone back, but obviously his core supporters are going to support him no matter what. And I think they're going to enable this really horrific. If what he's saying is true, that he's just gambling the whole time, he's not streaming, and he lost.
No, I believe it. I believe it.
Then it seems like he's lost a lot of money, and he's just kind of, this might be a rock bottom moment where he's taking the sponsorships because he's losing so much money.
I think
on the side that he justify it to himself.
I think that's you're right, exactly right. I think it's more like I'm already losing so much money while I'm gambling, like I might as well recoup those losses.
Need to take the sponsorship or I'm going to be broke.
And the second thing is like, look, this dude is a streaming machine, okay? And gambling is super easy. It's super easy content. You have a built-in audience. There's a drama associated with it. You're literally like you're just like going after your addiction by just like clicking a button. So that's like constantly reinforcing that part of your brain as well. It is a powder keg for someone like xQc because he's getting the worst kind of reinforcement in the form of like additional numbers watching him. He's got 100,000 people watching when he's playing, when he's gambling, but he has way less people, like 60 to 80,000 when he is not gambling. You know what I mean? So that makes it even worse for someone like xQc, who just like cares about his community, who cares about streaming, who cares about making good content, right? Because he's like, well, I'm making good content. People are watching. And getting a sponsorship like that is, again, the icing on the cake for someone who is addicted, because now you are, like you said, recouping your losses basically.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, but oh god, it's so bad. It's just such a vicious cycle. Now he's caught in with his fans. It's so bad, man. But yeah, I think it's super sad, super disappointing to see him come back, especially after making that apology and begging people, please don't lump me in with the worst of them. It's like, okay, dude, whatever. That was 10 months ago. He's back gambling.
Yeah, he says, I mean, he posted in his community, he said, I don't give a fuck. Like, I've changed my mind, like, on gambling. I was wrong to have apologized. Like, I think gambling is fire.
Yeah, gambling rules, dude. More gambling in the world.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Sad, man. Sad. And he moved back to Canada explicitly to take up his gambling career, right?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know why I've reached out to him a bunch of times in the past like month or so. We haven't really talked that much for a couple months, so I don't know what his like personal.
Well, Love, you know that, right? Did he say that he was moving back to Canada? I know you can gamble legally on this website.
I mean, that's why people go. Yes, I mean that's why Train moved to Canada. Like, so that is definitely a motivator, but I don't know if that's like the main reason.
Well, there you have it. What do you guys think? Actually, let me open the chat.
A lot of people saying they appreciate the sort of empathy that you're expressing, because, yeah, I mean, a lot of people deal with addiction and the framing of what he's doing rather than, oh, he's just a dick and, oh, he's a hypocrite or whatever. It's like that.
Well, all that is
true.
All that is true, but that's what addiction turns you into. That's why when you get addicted to things, you lose friends and family.
Yeah.
Is because you become a ghost of your former self and a slave to your addiction, and you do stuff like he's doing now that makes you look like a fucking idiot because you have to feed the demon, dude.
Yeah, and like this doesn't mean that this absolves him of like the wrongdoing, for the record, because like here's the thing: xQc has millions and millions of dollars, doesn't spend it on anything. You know what I mean? Like he just streams all the time, and I get that. I understand that. I'm the same way. I love streaming. That's what I love to do. I don't really care about like making investments or whatever. I just love streaming, and that's what I care about. So when he when he's like losing all this money, he has a lot longer of a runway to continue gambling that his fan base doesn't. So his addiction can be like super public. He can deal with it personally. But if he recognizes that like that addiction is crippling, and to a certain degree he does, I think, and he definitely like changes his conduct accordingly because he doesn't want his community to be a certain way, then you should recognize that like putting that demon on others within your community of people who love you is awful, straight up.
Yeah, that's a really good point about the runway.
Yeah.
But in a sense, he's really kind of throwing his fans under the bus in a way by going back and as part of the addiction. Because yeah, dude, it's bad. It's bad news. Yeah.
So Hasan, you don't think that Twitch will ever take action on this? Like they're completely cool with the gambling on.
I mean, they already haven't.
Why? How would they do that? You have gotcha games. First of all, regulating that is really difficult because you have Raid apparently, or like all these like pay to win games, mobile games. They're
You have
also
CS:GO
like,
crates.
You have CS:GO crates. You have loot boxes. The governments that have actually like some governments have taken action against all of that, which I think is a good thing. But ultimately, if a particular business can reach a level of like revenue, they can basically buy legitimacy. They can lobby the government to ensure that regulation doesn't happen, or regulation that benefits them only happens. And that's kind of what's going on right now.
Wild to me that, you know, you can get banned for wearing a bikini on stream in like 2 seconds, but you can gamble.
I got banned for saying cracker for 7 days. Like it's wild. Yeah. I mean, it's ruthlessly inconsistent.
Yeah.
And yes, obviously, like a lot of these people who love gambling or defend gambling are the same people that actually, ironically, are like super anti hot tub streaming.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. They hate that.
Well, by the way, you said you had an addiction. What was that about?
I mean, I've struggled with. I've talked about this openly. I've struggled with alcohol.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've struggled with alcohol addiction.
Really? How much?
And I used to smoke cigarettes too. Both of those are terrible.
Wait, when were you? How long ago were you drinking?
I mean, I still drink now, every now and then, casually. I can do it, but I went cold turkey, and I had a really incredible support group that basically helped me quit and stop drinking for a very long time.
I didn't know that. How much were you like?
I was just a binge drinker. I would black out. Yeah, I know. I was never like I don't know. I don't like talking about it too much because like then people will literally use that against me in a very weird way.
Wow,
but
it's good to be vulnerable.
Yeah, sometimes. But yeah, I've talked about it before, so it's whatever. But yeah, I had alcohol problems and cigarettes especially as well. Like cigarettes was probably worse than alcohol because alcohol it was over a longer period of time, but cigarettes it was like it's impossible once you pop, you actually can't stop, like straight up.
Well, if you're actually addicted to alcohol, that's one of the worst drugs to give up. People straight up die from stopping drinking alcohol.
I had an intervention. One of my closest friends.
You got an intervention?
One of my closest friends was like, "This is,
So you were getting blackout drunk every night.
I would get blackout drunk a lot. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it's horrible. You hate yourself. It's not good for your mental health. It's not good for those around you. You've already mentioned it. It's an awful thing. It's very difficult. Very difficult to combat it. It's very difficult to deal with, and it's something that I have to always pay attention to for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the reality. I can thankfully still every now and then have like one drink, but I notice myself. I know I'm constantly observing my own brain basically, where I drink one time, I won't drink for like a year. And I drink one time at a party because it's like a celebration,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, come on, all right, I'll have one drink. Fuck it. Because everyone's like peer pressuring you. Come on, drink. And I'll have one drink. And then immediately the next day, I go out, I have another drink. I just went from not drinking for a year to drinking 2 days in a row. And the second time I drink more than I did the first time.
Right.
And I don't let it ever get to like a blackout. But as soon as I notice that, I'm like, I'm cutting it out. No more. Like, and I just go cold turkey. And it's just... it's what I've been doing for a long time. It's been fine.
Is there drinking in your family?
My grandfather was.
Yeah. Usually runs in the family. It's a weird thing. With
But my dad never drank. So
interesting.
Yeah, he just doesn't drink at all.
That's good, man. That's good that you have that awareness. Good friend too to intervene.
It's like a weird force that is always encroaching on you. Like that. I don't know how else to describe it other than just like it's always in the back of your mind and it can very easily before you recognize it, become, something that takes over your entire personality.
There you have it. Good for you, dude. You ever go to AA or anything like that?
No. I never did Alcoholics Anonymous, but I mean, from what I understand, there's a lot of like spiritual stuff that I don't really vibe with, but it's great. I mean, it clearly helps people. So
I have a friend who is in that, who's going frequently, and it sounds amazing. It sounds like a really incredible.
Yeah, the sponsorship concept is actually what is really helpful. That's what I mean. Like, because I did not AA, but that's basically how I was able to quit drinking. Was I had a very close friend who was always by my side. We would go out together. We would not drink together. He didn't drink either.
Yeah.
And that's what was incredibly helpful.
If you're surrounded, if you're trying to stop an addiction, if there's people around you partaking in that,
Yeah,
you will
enabling
not
you.
make it through.
Yeah.
And that's especially if you go back to the problem talking about XQC. If you have a gambling addiction and you're with 100,000 people that want to watch you, and there's so much rationality going on, and now he's hanging out with Train, who's gambling, you will not get through that sponsorship. You will not get through that addiction. You will not.
No, you're being doubly enabled. You're being enabled because like you love content, and this is the easiest way to make content that's like super fun and it has a built-in audience for it. Trainwreck's community grew by
Yeah.
a massive
really?
margin. Yeah, he wasn't like averaging 38,000 viewers when he wasn't gambling. He was
I
like
see.
he had like 10,000 people watching on good days, and then
Wow.
now he has a massive community. So that's really bad. That's one way to enable it, is an external factor that is like a total enabler. The other is obviously like they're giving you directly money so you could continue gambling, and you might even be dumping that money back into the
That's what
the fucking-
Trainwreck says he does. Is he loses all of his sponsorship money back to the casino.
But that's not good. Like if you recognize that you yourself are a fucking addict, like why are you
It's
you know
not-
why are you subjecting other people in your community to that same addiction?
It's incredible to think that someone like Trainwreck, this just should tell you how fucked up this shit is. Someone like Trainwreck, who's getting probably $2 million a month, can come out the other side of this, just as broke as the people he's getting into to do the gambling. I mean, it could happen to XQC too, frankly. He could lose every fucking penny he has for that shit.
Well, one thing that we do know, that stake will keep him afloat until people are no longer watching, or until like gambling is banned in its entirety from the
true.
platform.
Yeah, they'll keep him.
And when that goes away, when the stake money runs out, like you have a lot of money right now, but you're chasing that high. You're constantly chasing that high. You're constantly chasing the high of like getting a dub or that anticipation. Nothing else feels good. That's one of the other things that people don't talk about, is like when you're an addict, you only want to fucking you only want to focus on that addiction. It overtakes your entire life. You're constantly chasing that high. Nothing feels good. Video games are not going to feel good. Nothing else is going to feel. Everything else is going to pale in comparison to that high of like getting a big win, but that anticipation that is being reinforced every time you hit that fucking slot. And you could, no matter how much money you make $10 million a month, you could literally lose all of that shit with gambling. And when the stake money runs out, and you're fucking dumping your entire life's work into this online casino, it's not going to be great.
I would say I had a minor addiction to. I mean, minor. I was addicted to this painkiller called tramadol. You know about that?
No.
When I was in
That's
Israel,
terrifying.
it's like a synthetic opioid, and well, anyway, it's a painkiller. And back when I was in Israel, I was working a desk job for 5 years, and just so bored. And basically, my whole time there, I was taking this pill. And yeah, I was definitely starting to get addicted to it, because like, it's basically all you think about. It's all you want to do. It's all you look forward to, and then, it starts to affect your relationships, especially with a drug like that, because when you're not high on it, you're in a horrible mood, and
yeah. Did you feel like you geared your entire life around like getting your next getting your next pill? Like that's
Definitely.
why, depending on what like how much financial comfort you have, what doesn't change is like your constant rush that you're seeking, the constant thrill that you're seeking, right? Because your brain chemistry is just like being rewired slowly but surely into only making you chase that high. But depending on how much financial support you have, it just like it gives you a runway basically. But ultimately, it always ends the same unless you get help and stop it.
Yeah, I was able to stop basically cold turkey when I came back. No, I stopped before that. It was just getting out of control. But I was taking it like three times a week and just getting blasted on the weekends. But yeah, it just ruins your relationships, and it's just so taxing on everything. It's all you want to do, and nothing's going to stop you from getting the fix, and you justify it, and that was just me, man. It's kind of crazy to think if I was in a stadium with 100,000 people and we were all fucking getting high on tramadol together. What would be the consequence of that? But there you have it. It could be worse. You could be addicting to killing innocent people like George Bush. That's a comment.
Yeah, it's true. He does. That is a.
Yeah, tramadol. I just am reading the chat. Tramadol withdrawal was the fucking worst, man. It's horrible. But I'm totally clean now. I mean, God, how did I stop? I think I just ran out of pills one day, and I just never got more, basically. And I was like a month of not being able to sleep and being super uncomfortable all the time and just being fucking miserable. And then, I would say for a long, long time, though, for many years, I was just thinking about like, man, tramadol would be so fun right now and all this, and this would be so fun on tramadol. But I'm pretty much over it now, I'd say.
Yeah.
Actually, the good thing is the antidepressants I'm on, I can't take shit like that because I can like die. Because it's like a serotonin. Tramadol releases serotonin, and if you're on an SSRI, if you take like serotonin-releasing drugs, you can get serotonin syndrome, which apparently is really dangerous.
Yeah.
So that's a nice little control thing for me. There you go. So anyway.
Okay, that was dark. We went to a very dark place on this, but that's why I don't fuck around with addiction shit, man.
Well, we both have experiences, and I think that's important.
It's really, really dangerous shit.
But yeah, I think we can see. I don't know where this is gonna go, but it's not gonna go anywhere good for him. I really don't think so.
Unless he just like stops, and it doesn't seem like he is. He just said like, I mean, he was literally doing the last copium stage of like debating your own consciousness. He basically said like, I would stop if Twitch banned it. It's Twitch's fault, not mine.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well
of course you would stop if Twitch banned it.
Yeah, I know, but like that's crazy. You recognize that like you are that level addicted, and like just put yourself in the shoes of someone who loves you is all I'm saying. Put yourself in the shoes of one of your fans. I'm not doing this fucking virtue signal. I don't give a shit. But put yourself in the shoes of someone who loves you, is in your fan base, who is now also addicted to gambling in a similar capacity to yourself. Think about how it's changed your life. Think about how it's changing your personal relationships. And think about what that would do to like the average juicer. It's not good.
You want to talk about Jordan Peterson?
Let's do it. Speaking of,
addicted to outrage.
Speaking of being addicted to pills.
Oh yeah, shout out. We have a lot in common, man.
Yeah, benzo.
Yeah, here's poor Jordan. He's been ratioed off Twitter.
Now he's addicted to ratios. Get addicted to this ratio, Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan was addicted to benzos, of course. Shout out to my boy there.
Yeah.
So here he is. Let's just go down a whole. He had such a crazy week on Twitter, man. And he's pretty much dropped the facade of being like, I'll just talk to anyone that will speak to me.
Yeah.
That's what he used to say. The only reason I'm on conservative shows is because they're the only ones that will speak to me. That's not true at all. Actually, David Pacman was like, I've invited you a bunch of times and you don't respond.
Okay, dude. If you're not going to respond to David Pacman, like you are not trying to be like, you are.
He's he's one of the biggest liberal shows.
No, because like David is like also kind of a lib, you know what I mean? He's not like as aggressive as I am. He conducts himself in a way that's very professional.
Very professional.
I respect that about him. I've known him for many years.
Was terrible.
If you're not going to go on David Pacman's fucking show, like you are literally just like avoiding anything that is a semblance of the left on the internet.
He's avoiding anyone with any critique of him. He just wants to be platformed. And again, that's why I removed my podcast with him. I know that you didn't agree with that decision, but I did it because I don't want to platform him and gateway this shit. Anyway, this turned into like a whole right-wing talking point. This lady, I don't actually know who she is.
This is Yumi Nu.
Oh, who is that?
She is a plus-size model.
Oh, she's a model. Okay.
And she is on as you can see, the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Now, I want to say about Yumi Nu is that she looks good. I mean,
no, she's very. I think she's. Look,
Yeah.
I think she's very pretty. I said this already
She looks
on
she
stream.
looks great. She looks fine. She's very pretty.
She is,
and let's be honest, she's not like that overweight either. I mean,
yeah. I mean, this is like I would say a little bit above like average size for an American woman.
Yeah.
It's not like, I mean, obviously this ranges dramatically, but like, do you guys not have like any fucking women in your lives? Like, I don't understand. Like the incels that like are like, oh, she's so fat. I'm like,
it's like, hi, honey.
Have you met a woman? Like, what the fuck?
But
It's
you
just-
know, it also, I don't know why all of a sudden conservatives act like they've never heard of a plus size model now. Like we've been talking about this shit for like decades, and then all of a sudden, this girl gets on the cover, and it turns into like this whole cultural war issue. Jordan Peterson tweeted out, "This one blew my tits off, man. When I read this, I was
Can I do the voice?
Oh yeah, please do, please do.
Sorry, not beautiful. And no amount of authoritarian tolerance is going to change that.
What a toxic. How dare society tell overweight women they're beautiful? It's disgusting.
Yes.
Totalitarian.
It's the dragon of chaos saying that
this bitch needs to know her place.
No, he's like he's literally like, you will not force me to crank a hot load to this lady, no matter what.
She is just not my type.
I am not doing it. I am not. I tried and tried. I tried jerking off over and over again to the cover model of Sports Illustrated Swimsuit 2022. And I could not rub one out.
Hand me my benzos. I'm getting stressed.
He's just... it's just very funny to like try to intellectualize just basically saying a woman is mid. You know what I mean? Like he's just he's trying like no amount of authoritarian tolerance. First of all, beauty standards are entirely beauty is subjective.
This is beauty subjective, and I know tons of people who would consider this like that's my ideal. Like this is many
thick
people's
ladies. This is the
preferences.
thick lady summer.
Like
Okay,
a lot of people find that to be like that's my ideal woman.
I'm calling it. It's a thick lady summer. Okay. And it's also muscle girl summer. Okay, straight up.
Okay,
muscle girls like non like Western standard beauty standards.
I'm sorry, Hasan,
are coming back.
But if I see muscles on a woman, my dick's shrinking.
I do not want a woman that can out bench press me.
It's ridiculous. Men have it hard enough. We can't have women walking around stronger. That's outrageous. It's all we have.
But yeah, beauty standards are not only entirely subjective, changes throughout culture, changes throughout history. You can go back in time and look at, what people consider to be like fertile or figures of fertility, and you will find that like Yumi Nu, Yumi Nu fits the
She's
thick
probably
lady.
Throughout the history of humanity, she is probably the exact idea of like the beautiful woman.
Yes, and this doesn't mean that like you have to find her currently and presently attractive.
No,
okay?
you don't, Jordan. No, trust me, you don't have to fuck her, and I'm sure the invitation's not there either. So don't worry about it.
So
nobody's for. I love the authoritarians are forcing me to beat off to this.
Yeah,
Dude, you don't have to find her attractive. Nobody fucking. But the craziest thing about this to me is Jordan Peterson is a therapist by profession.
Yeah, I mean, he's
by profession. This man is a therapist, and he's tweeting out "fuck fat chicks."
Yeah,
basically.
but like he's doing it in a brilliant, objective, and intellectually honest way, though, obviously. And his like fan base of fucking weirdo incels are like, yeah, you're right. You just owned epic ownage, Jordan Peterson.
Authoritarian tolerance. No, you don't have to buy the magazine, dude. You just have to look at it.
It's really funny to just like come out of the gate swinging and being like, I could not jerk off to this, and that's unacceptable.
It's just this is probably the most outrageous tweet. He's said a lot of dumb shit. One of my favorite ones of recent was just Trudeau made conversion therapy illegal, and he called it moral grandstanding. That's one of my recent favorites. But anyway, he went on to have a full.
Look at the likes on that, 52,000. Well, interesting.
Oh, we have his ratio in here, right?
Yeah, we do.
I basically wrote that exact same thing, but just like posted a photo of him looking like shit. For those of you who haven't seen it, like
Wait,
when he's
hold on.
crying.
So I'll show the ratio before we move on, just for.
Also, before we move on, just weird twist. I just pulled up her Wikipedia article.
Damn, son.
Relatives, uncle, Steve Aoki.
What the fuck?
Interesting.
Oh, that's
such a
never
weird,
mind.
such a weird crossover.
Cancel Yumi New.
Wait, is he a problem?
Dude, I don't know. I mean, he's everywhere. Wasn't his dad like literally homies with Jordan Belfort?
Well,
yeah, his dad was Rocky.
Can I ask you a
Aoki.
question?
And founded
be mad at
Benihana's,
me.
I believe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you a question. Don't be mad. Who the fuck is that?
Steve Aoki.
I don't know who the fuck. I see his
Steve
face.
Aoki, famous for his song with the bloody beetroots.
Who?
Yeah.
He's a DJ. He's a fucking super.
DJ?
He's like an old school DJ from. See, it says years active, like
Okay,
since
let's go,
1996.
He does like a bunch of Vegas residencies and shit like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
player. Let's get the little.
He also-
Steve Aoki has his hands in everything.
Yeah, you can't escape him.
We go with the round table and the beatbox. Ooh. I turn into Bill Cosby.
Yeah, what the
What the?
what the fuck was that?
I'm like boomer shit. I don't know what's going on.
Anyway, but yeah,
So here's your response. You absolutely brutally fucking ratioed. And actually, what that tweet was so outrageous, it was kind of nice to see that not only you, actually, maybe you can send me a link so I can look, but there was a lot of mainstream people who don't usually get involved in politics dunking on him in the comments.
no, because this is silly. You're
Which
a
is
silly
great.
bitch. Like you're literally fucking.
No, it's great. He exposed himself as the moron.
He went full conservative, and you
Exactly.
can't go full conservative. You went
Well,
full
he's been
conservative.
doing that. He's been
Yeah.
doing that. And this is just, he's pandering. I think what happened was he saw this becoming a culture issue with people like Ben Shapiro and stuff, who just released a whole video about it right there.
You want to know why?
And he saw that, and he's
You
like,
wanna-
oh, this is the topic. So I'm going in. And then he caught shit.
You
Go
want to
ahead.
know why everyone got so mad?
Go ahead.
Because people love thick ladies. Okay, people love thick ladies. That's what it is. It's thick lady summer.
Why'd they
calling it one more time? Okay.
Wait.
Straight up, there were people that are his fans that were like, "My girlfriend
no,
looks
I
like
know.
that."
No, that was, he's like,
calm down, Jordan.
no, those were my favorite ones.
Yeah, like.
So wait, hold on.
You know, quite frankly, Hasan, I'm really more attracted to you than the model.
Oh yeah, this is one of
Jordan's
his
here.
saying. This is one of his saying. Reject modernity, embrace tradition.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, let's go back and see what perfect beauty look. I mean, yeah,
Exactly.
Damn,
Exactly.
look-
That's a figure of fertility, like straight up, like the ultimate female physique at a certain time.
Do you know who's perfect? Is Hasan. I really enjoy his.
Gordon,
physique.
chill.
that Hasan Piker, he's so masculine.
Oh, he's got a throbber in his pants. Don't you?
I don't-
always, whenever I see Ethan Klein, I say to myself, "Humana, humana, humana."
I don't like
My jaw
thick
dropped
women,
to the
but that Ethan Klein, he's got a dump truck.
Yeah. My jaw drops to the floor. My tongue rolls out like the red carpet.
Hasan, what kind of underwear do you wear? Do you got a Thor's hammer in your pants? My good friend.
Where would we be without men?
I just really love his physique.
Can I touch your biceps? Where would we be without Hasan's biceps?
Yeah, it's just it's ridiculous, and but so people started dunking on him, and then he did.
So the next one after everybody
kept
dunked on
posting
him,
through it, yeah.
instead of remember this guy's a therapist, right? He does tours preaching about how to better yourself. So instead of reflecting on like even his own fans being like, Jordan, my wife looks like this, and I think she's beautiful, so maybe tone it down.
Yeah.
No self-reflection. He says, rage away, panders, and tell me you believe that such images are not conscious and cynical manipulations by the oh so virtuous politically correct. He's acting like she's a mutant. Like,
yeah.
He really is
This
acting
is
like
not
she's
the
just
average,
an absolute
This is not the average
freak.
looking like woman.
Yeah,
that's
just
pretty.
like it was a blob of flesh and teeth
Yeah.
and hair coming out. It's like
Jordan
dude.
literally looks like shit. Like he actually looks like a hairy dish rag. And he's over here fucking talking about how other people look and how people should look. Now, the irony of that, by the way, the authoritarian thing that he's talking about is like he believes that beauty is objective, which is psychotic. If you dive deeper into like art and culture and beauty being subjective, you arrive at another group of individuals who used to think that of course, Nazis. They also have
Whoa, 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 whoa.
No, but that's it. That's the truth. Conservatives are aligned universally with a lot of fascist ideology, fascist.
But I've spent my life studying Nazis, bucko. How dare you?
Now, I'm not saying Jordan Peterson is one.
Hold on, Zach. Play the Keemstar soundbite.
What?
I think it's pretty rich of you to be talking about
death to all
Nazis.
Jews.
What?
That's Keemstar. He said, "Tell everyone to go type death to all Jews to Ethan on
Jesus
Twitter."
Christ.
No, the other one about the.
No, he was going to say
hates
the
the Jews.
No, the one about Hasan.
The one about Hasan.
He was going to say you want to see black people in the downfall. I think that's what he's saying.
Hasan wants bad stuff to happen to black people.
It's
Called
pretty
out.
rich of you to grandstand.
Yeah.
Called out.
Now, I'm not saying Jordan Peterson is a Nazi, okay, but he does do a lot of red pilling, maybe inadvertently, but the main takeaway in this situation is like, if you are authoritarian about subjecting people to beauty standards, and you recognize that beauty standards can change by what you are seeing in the news cycle. So Jordan Peterson basically is saying, I want my authoritarian beauty standards to maintain. Like I only want to see women that are size zero. I want to make sure that women are invisible when they turn to the side, like paper thin.
That look like my daughter Michaela.
Michaela's fucking jacked too. So
My daughter Michaela, she eats only meat.
Yeah.
She's a perfect woman. Have you seen her knockers? Oh boy.
I mean, I do love Michaela.
I'm her dad, but man, oh man, I'll tell you, if we weren't related, I'd love to take her for a round of session. You know what I'm saying?
Michaela is actively when she's not actively trying to kill her father. I would say that by giving her COVID from that she got from a Serbian hookah
I
club.
think she got it from. Or she's traveling with.
She had just previously been dating Cobra Tate, but then it was the next guy that Hasan's talking about. That,
I can't believe
got
there's
the
a
COVID
Cobra
from.
Tate Jordan Peterson connection. That's the best.
I can believe it. It's perfect. I mean, they're both alpha men that are just teaching people
how to human traffic.
How to
Jordan,
be masculine.
So Jordan continues. I have recently stopped accessing Twitter for 3 weeks as an experiment. I had some of my staff post videos, links, etc. I'm glad he has a staff to maintain his Twitter account. It was a genuine relief. I started to read and write more. I started using it again a few days ago, and I would say that my life got worse again almost instantly. The endless flood of vicious insults is really not something that can be experienced anywhere else. I like to follow the people I know, but I think the incentive structure of the platform makes it intrinsically dangerous and insane. So I told my staff to change my password to keep me from the temptation, and I am departing once again.
He's not.
If I have something to say, I'll write an article or make a video. If the issue is not important enough to justify that, then perhaps it would be best to let it go. So
he's posting
5 minutes
through it.
after this, he posted literally 20 times.
Yeah, I counted. Yeah, it's 28, I think, by the time
28 times.
By the next morning, yeah.
He just goes on to talk about some bullshit, too.
Yeah, so the thing is, like...
Look at this.
Twitter's a platform now. Don't get mad at me, disability activists, but Twitter's a platform where whoever is the most mentally ill is making the best posts. Okay, sorry, it's just the truth. Okay, and I, as a victim of many cyberbullying attempts, and can say that, like, yeah, it feels terrible when you are in the crosshairs, when you're the main guy for the day, and everyone's just like piling on you and telling you that you should kill yourself. It's not great, but also it does feel so sweet when you're not on the receiving end of it. Like I totally understand why people do it.
There's definitely Schadenfreude, of course.
I totally understand why people like it, especially when it's like valid, especially when it's against someone who's like legitimately is just like being a fucking buffoon or outright evil. In that situation, it just.
Well, here's one of the top comments from one of his fans. Sheesh, Jordan, big fan here. I find my girlfriend with a body like this quite beautiful. Dial it back, homie. And then he's like, and then his response to his fan being a little bit upset.
Yeah.
Just keep pandering, losers.
Yeah.
This bitch is fat.
Yeah. Your girlfriend is thick, and I do not like it. I do not
Fuck
like
your
that.
wife. You need to find a skinnier girl, bucko. I'm a huge fan of yours and always getting my young adult son and daughters to watch your videos. I've even gifted your self-authoring course, but I have to disagree. Beauty is subjective. You can be older, heavier, and still be beautiful. Is it the beauty standard? No. I remember when I used to watch your lectures on theology. It was utterly fascinating, and I listened to all your podcasts on getting your life straight and believing in yourself. It was so inspiring and comforting. Where does the sudden aggression and hatred come from? That's your brain on right-wing politics.
Yeah.
Hate to say it.
Again, thick mommies were far too powerful, and we're finally able to take down the giant, the giant of like red pilling so many people.
Well, bro, that tweet was so dumb.
It's two things have been able to destroy Jordan Peterson so far. I'm not even gonna say like make a joke about benzo addiction. It's actually a dumpster diving raccoon by the name of Slavoj Žižek who absolutely comstered him, and
Wait,
then
what is that? Wait, what
and
is
thick
that?
mommies when he did the debate.
They debated and he destroyed him.
You've never seen the Slavoj Žižek Jordan Peterson debate?
Oh my god,
It's very famous. Where he goes,
seen that?
"Where are the Marxists?"
Wait, is it really good?
That's pretty
Where-
good, Hasan.
I mean, I love Slavoj.
He has a
Žižek.
very interesting way of speaking.
Wait, I got.
Well, because you know how he always talk. I mean, he even talked about it when he came on our show all those years ago about the postmodern neo-Marxists being the main enemy of progress in society.
No, I know that's Jordan's thing.
Right. So the guy who he debated him just on the topic of communism, right? Like it was just kind of like or Marxism.
They
generally.
debated on a bunch of different topics where basically Slavo, who has written like 7 million books,
Right.
like, he literally just like never shuts the fuck up. He's only writing books about philosophy, about Marxism, Stalinism, all that stuff.
Yeah.
He destroyed Jordan Peterson with like this one simple trick, which was asking where these Marxists are. In
Wait, when
college
did this take
campuses.
place?
This was a couple years
Probably
back.
like 2-3 years ago.
You think it set him back?
I think that literally spiraled. That was the first time he got like adequate pushback from someone that was also like kind of gross and slimy looking. I love him, by the way. We call him a raccoon out of love.
Yeah.
That like it wasn't like a woman, right? So his audience was like, wait a minute. That guy that kind of looks like what I could look like is like owning this dude effectively.
So, wow, interesting. Maybe pull that moment.
He basically
up, man.
revealed that he's only read like not even fully read the Communist Manifesto, which I think is pretty funny because it's like a fucking
Really?
pamphlet, dog. Like
Is he-
that's the extent of his knowledge on Marxism and communism.
Oh. Are you gonna find that moment for me?
I think Hasan or AB just got it. Yeah.
Oh hell yeah! Let's see this. I'm actually really excited to watch this. Only 300,000 views though. We got
No, there's so much more. This was like at the time it was pop.
There's
off.
probably
one
re-upload
clip.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
Think they are really. Where did you find this data? I don't know them.
Wait, let me go back a bit.
You call it.
Get the context.
Your under quotation marks. I'm not characterizing here. Enemy, or what you are fighting against, as sometimes you call it postmodern neo-Marxism. I know what you mean. All this, from political correctness to these excesses of whatever spirit of envy and so on and so on.
And so on and so on.
Do you think they are really, where did you find this data? I don't know them. I would ask you here, give me some names or whatever. Where are the Marxists here? I don't know any. I don't, who is a Marxist here?
This is so
Show
satisfying
me
because he fucking won't shut up about this post-Marxist bullshit.
Yeah.
He uses it as this specter, this boogie goes
just, like,
to
pretty
describe
funny.
every fucking thing.
It's pretty funny because like college, in and of itself, in bourgeois capitalist nations like the United States of America, is an institution that reinforces the dominant neoliberal hegemonic attitude. Yes, they are socially, in many instances, a lot of the well-educated people in college campuses are socially progressive to a certain degree, but the idea that like college campuses are dominated
no
by
Marxist
Marxists
movement
is
in this
fucking
country.
insane. Like it's
There is no Marxist movie.
if you've ever taken an econ course, if you've ever taken an econ course in any American institution, Econ 101 and 102 is basically completely shut off, gated from any kind of Marxian economics. The furthest, I guess, left you can go is Keynesian economics. It's still neoclassical and capitalist economics. That is like the furthest, the furthest, like supposedly the closest you can get to Marxism, which is not even Marxism. It's entirely different than that. So
let's see what Jordan says.
It's
I'm
ridiculous.
curious. Yeah, let's see if he has a response here. Jordan's like, he's in his oh shit posture too. He's all, this guy's, look at the, alpha posture, beta posture, red pilled.
It just also looked like he was frivolously Googling on his computer every time he
Oh,
like,
he's in
brought
front of his
something up.
laptop. Okay.
Political correctness. I think they fear like a good vampire fears garlic. And this is why they are already the one who is not a Marxist, but at least approaches economic topic, Bernie Sanders. He's already under attack as white male and all that stuff and so on. My problem would be with this one. What you describe as postmodern neo-Marxism, where is really the Marxist element in it? They are for equality. Sorry, where? They are for equality at these cultural struggles, proper names, how do we call each other? Do you see in them, in political correctness and so on, any genuine will to change society? I don't see it. I think it's a hyper-moralization, which is a silent admission of a defeat.
Let's see it.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
my problem.
Wait, pause for
Why
a second
do
though,
you
because
call-
he's spitting right now. Okay, so listen. Now, the reason why I say this is because like Zizek obviously, I mean, he is a young Hegelian, but he himself has a worldview that is also what I would consider like mainstream liberal attitudes would consider Zizek to also be like an anti-SJW to a certain respect, and he recognizes that a lot of these like cultural movements, a lot of these social movements are not actually they don't actually revolve around changing the underlying material realities of the marginalized people it supposedly speaks for, and is simply just like a distraction, or rather in many respects just like a way to like feel a little bit better about yourself by like trying to redefine or sanitize culture. It's ultimately powerless. So that's the reason why he's like able to own him, because he can correctly expose the underlying attitude, the underlying fear that we all have, the fear of powerlessness in the face of structural change, and why we engage in like acts of I don't know, witch hunting or whatever the fuck or like getting your favorite TV show to change like the cast or something. It's bullshit.
Let's see what Jordan has to say.
Give me, no, it's not a rhetorical question for politely saying you are an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about. It's simply, I would
Dude,
like to know.
you're being outclassed
because you-
intellectually, bro. You look
and
like
I
an ant
this
right now.
often. When you attack somebody, you said aggressively, and what should? Read more. Tell me whom. So I'm asking you now, not read more. I don't advise you. But who are? Give me some names and so on. And who are these postmodern, egalitarian, neo-Marxist? And where do you see any kind even of Marxism? I see in it mostly an impotent, an utterly impotent moralization. Please, I'm so sorry that I was
No, that's no
long,
problem.
please.
Well, I mean,
Dude,
um,
shaking.
organization like
Look at his hands; they're shaking. Beta ass.
Yeah, no, he's getting on.
fidgeting
Wait, I
with
want to
the
see what he
top.
says. I forgot
Jonathan
this.
Haidt's, what's it called? Heterodox Academy, and other organizations like that have documented an absolute dearth of conservative voices in the social sciences and the humanities, and about 25%, according to the what I think are reliable surveys, approximately 25% of social scientists in the U.S. identify themselves as Marxists. And so there's that.
But where are the
Well,
results?
okay,
but like that's kind. That's
Wait, hold on.
that's an
I don't
admission of
see-
defeat. Okay?
What is he talking about?
If your entire argument revolves around like, well, 25% of college professors self-identify as Marxists, like, yeah, dude, 25%. Like, even then, you're like fucking losing your mind, making it seem like this is
It's
this is, like,
literally all he
poison.
talks about is neo-Marxism.
Yeah.
Like, he will not shut the fuck up. Well, I want to see this. I want to see this.
Well, yeah, your question seemed to me to focus more on the peculiar relationship that I've noticed and that people have disputed between postmodernism and neo-Marxism. And I see the connection between the postmodernist types and the Marxists as a sleight of hand that replaced the notion of the oppression of the proletariat by the bourgeoisie as the oppression by one identity group by another.
Totally agree with you.
Okay, so so now look.
Oh, what did he say?
He's saying that.
No, what did he say literally, this guy? In
I'm
response?
going to describe it to you.
No, but I just want to know literally what he said.
he said that he's doing the same thing that like conceptual James does, basically saying that
No,
CRT
what
critical.
were the words he said?
What are you asking?
Okay, wait.
Just play
No,
it
he
again.
said something. I didn't hear because people were cheering. Here, I got auto caption on.
By one identity group by another.
Totally agree with you.
Okay, so but
What did he say?
He said totally agree with you.
Okay.
Zizek said totally agree with you.
Okay.
But what he's basically describing is that like they took Marxist theory and the underlying like the class element, remove the class element from Marxist theory, and now use it for like other kinds of like critical race theory, for example. This is actually a little bit ahead of the curve on like what the Republican Party does now with like critical race theory. They basically say this exact same thing still to this day, where they're saying like, oh, it's actually Marxist and bad, but they are substituting like the oppression of the proletariat, the working class, by the capital-owning bourgeois class to the oppression of one identity against another. It's misattributed, it's false, but ultimately it kind of is a self-defeating point, which is that they're not Marxist. So you're wrong. So that's why Slavo says, I agree with you.
Right.
Because they're not Marxist.
Let's see.
Not.
Let's see.
But so now look, we could
But
have
that's precisely a non-Marxist gesture par excellence.
well, I guess that's where we might have a dispute, because I think what happened, especially in France in the 1960s, is as the radical Marxist postmodern types like Derrida and Foucault realized that they were losing the moral battle, especially after the information came out of the Soviet Union in the manner that it came out. That the whole,
and so on.
yeah, that the whole bloody Stalinist, the whole Stalinist catastrophe, along with the entire Maoist catastrophe, that they didn't really have a leg to stand on. And instead of
Literally
revising their
fundamentally
notion that
false.
human history, and this is a Marxist notion, should be regarded as the eternal class struggle between the economically deprived and the oppressors, they just recast it and said, well, it's not based on economics, it's based on identity, but it's still fundamentally oppressor against oppressed. And to me, that meant that they smuggled the fundamental narrative of Marxism and many of its goals back into the argument without ever admitting that they did so. Now, I've been criticized, for this supposition, because people who are postmodernists say, look, one of the hallmarks of postmodernism is skepticism of meta-narratives. It's like, I know that perfectly well. And I also know that Marxism is a meta-narrative, and so you shouldn't be able to be a
Jordan Peterson also
postmodernist
skeptical of
and be
meta-narratives.
Marxist. But I still see the union of those two things in the insistence that the appropriate way to look at the world is to view it as the battleground between.
All right, shut up, Jordan.
I mean, he describes the inherent contradiction between Marxism and postmodernism.
Well,
in there,
basically,
right?
it has nothing to do with Marxism.
Yeah, but that's it. They just, because they're relying on a century of Red Scare propaganda to just basically say, well, that's socialist, that's Marxist.
Anyone
that's why
who cares
it's bad.
about social issues is a communist.
Which, I mean, I don't have a problem with that yet. Go ahead. It's true.
Okay, shout out to the king, Zizek. Hasan, no comment?
Pervert's Guide to Ideology is something that you could watch quickly and easily. It's one of his documentaries, one of his movies called Pervert's Guide to Ideology.
You're not going to comment on that?
I mean, he just looks great. I don't know what to say. He's
Just wanted
thriving.
you to acknowledge what was on the screen.
Zizek is also from Zizek comes from a long line of unkempt and disheveled philosophers with sexy girlfriends.
Oh, really? Does he have a slamming girlfriend?
He is a beautiful wife.
Pull that up. Pull that up.
Because I mean,
he's got intellectual. There you go. Red pills eat your heart out. He's the fucking enemy of all red pills. They think that they have to be a perfect male specimen, and Zizek's pulling it. Okay. Oh my God. What's up, player? Oh yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
And look at him, man. That guy's a fucking
the lion, the Slovenian lion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kind of suave though. Back in the day, you kind of looked like a. What was that French actor that all the soccer moms love back in the day?
Oh,
Pardue.
Luc. No, not Luc Besson, but he's in Luc Besson. Gerard Depardieu.
Yeah.
Every French actor
He has
looks
a
like
Gerard.
shit. It's like kind of what they're famous for.
Vibe. Hey, I got a question for you, Tim Pool. What happens if a woman is on the way to get an abortion at 8 months, but goes into labor in the lobby of the abortion clinic and accidentally delivers the baby before it could be terminated?
Hell yeah.
Obviously, you kill the baby, you throw the baby in the incinerator.
Yeah. Well, that has happened. I
That's
think
what happens
They
in
literally,
liberals.
they actually did not terminate the baby in that situation. That has happened one time, I believe. But like, again, these
not at 8 months though.
No, I mean it happens. Premature births are a common occurrence for sure.
But people don't get abortions at 8 months unless it's like life threatening, right?
Exactly. That's precisely what I was going to say. In most circumstances, and this is a really disgusting thing that conservatives do, is like 93% of abortions are happening in the first trimester. Okay, 93%. 6% of abortions happen in the second trimester, oftentimes because like people don't know that they're pregnant as a consequence of not being able to get adequate reproductive health care services. So thank you, Republicans, for that. And only 1% of terminations, only 1% of abortions happen in the third trimester. Now, that is an incredibly low percentage, obviously, in the grand scheme of things, but that's all these fucking dinguses talk about. They can't shut the fuck up about third trimester abortions because they're like basically trying to say like the fetus has viability outside the body, and they're trying to liken abortion to a murder as best as possible. They're trying to liken a fetus into a baby as best as possible. That's why they use this argument. Now, what's really horrifying about this is, as you correctly pointed out, third trimester abortions in nearly every single one is done through medical consultation, and it's done to women that wanted to carry that pregnancy to term.
Oh,
no one is fucking carrying
horrible.
a baby inside of them for 8 fucking months, a fetus inside of them for
Can
8
you
months until it
imagine
turns
how
into like a
traumatic that would be to
Yes.
have to get rid of your nearly born child? That's just that's
Yes.
traumatic, man.
So that's precisely why I think it's disgusting, because they're like shamelessly using that as like the main hypothetical, the main example, and it's just really fucking stupid.
Yeah, the supposition that there's women out there who are just willing to they're like, you know what, at 8 months, I don't want this baby, take it out and kill it. Nobody does that, and it's kind of a self-report on, you really think women are out there that evil, bro? And nobody does that. And isn't it illegal to do that at 8 months? I don't think you can legally murder the baby then.
I think it differs state by state. Some states offer full autonomy to the carrier, which is, you know, an understandable legal boundary to set, specifically because you don't want to stop the actual women that need to get this, that need to get this termination done, this abortion done for medical reasons, because, you know, you want to like doctors are not in the business of like forcing women to carry pregnancies to term and have them die as a consequence of that, even when there's no viability for the fetus.
When I say illegal, I mean, you know, I'm just saying with not like an elective surgery to be like, I don't want the baby, it's 8 months.
Yeah. In that
think you can
situation,
do
I think
that.
like they can. I mean, like I said, it differs state by state, but in
Can you
nearly
get an
all,
8th month abortion in any state, just elective?
No.
Without
No,
it-
most states do not.
Without like a medical emergency, I don't believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
No,
just
you
want to
have-
make that
you
very
need, like,
clear,
you need
'cause that's
medical
like-
consultation.
That's a fallacy that they say you can just willy-nilly. One of the talking was like, you can go get a abortion the day before you give birth.
Or they say they always use Ralph Northam, famously a doctor who either did blackface or wore KKK robes. We still don't know to this day which one he was. Governor of Virginia back in the day, Democrat. He was on a talk show where he was basically talking about the medical procedure of the incredibly rare process in which like you have a stillbirth. Like forced induced
is that where they showed the
pregnancy,
graph?
where they have to, you know, basically terminate the child even after the birth has like taken place, like a forced birth has taken place, and it's a brutal medical process, right? It's horrifying, but you know what else is horrifying? Open heart surgery, dumbass. So if you know, someone is like a medical professional is describing open heart surgery, you're going to be like, oh, that's gross. Let's not do that. Yeah, obviously, when you have people describe medical procedures, it's going to sound, especially in your Luddite mind, it's going to sound gross and scary. Okay? But that's what this is. It is a medical procedure. This intervention is a necessity, even in the super extreme, like once in a lifetime example that Northam was using that is like misattributed and bastardize, where they say like, you know, Democrats want to kill babies after they're born, is done to like serious terminal illness to the fetus, like that won't survive the post birth, like will not survive for like more than fucking 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's an incredibly traumatic process.
So
because
that's what
it's a wanted pregnancy.
I've seen graphs of that where they're like, it looks horrific and it's scary as hell. Where they like go in and they have to like cut the baby and take pieces out of it and shit and like remove it piece by piece. But that's not what every abortion is.
Yeah, it's so gross. They try to make it like, I watched that YouTuber family, the TikTok
LeBrants?
dude with like,
The LeBrons, they're fucking disgusting.
yeah. I mean that lady should stop.
But you know about, I don't know if
say
you
this
know
a
about
lot,
the
but-
LeBrant family, but they faked their kid having cancer for views. Did you know
Yeah,
that?
I do fucking more power to them on that front, but like they should stop having children. Oh my gosh, she has like 11 children, dude. What are you doing?
Do they
Like,
really?
At a certain
Or
point,
maybe
I
I'm
don't know.
thinking of different people.
They have a lot of no, the blonde. They have
They
like,
have-
I'm joking, I'm exaggerating, but I think she's like
I thought
pregnant.
they only had like 2.
I thought they have like 6.
The LeBrants.
How many children do the LeBrants
Oh
have?
no, they've got 3 kids and 4th on the way.
And the 4th on the way. Yeah, you got to stop.
Stop it.
It's not Pringles, lady. You know, you can stop yourself.
They do look like a can of Pringles though, don't they?
I mean, it's just wild to me that like, you know, like if you want to have as many children as possible because they're like little content
They're
nuggets
religious.
for you.
They love that multiplying shit.
Yeah, and it's also great content for them. Like she has an addiction, she has a breeding kink.
Once they see, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
more power to you, but like also stop, please. You've had too many children.
We only have like 10 minutes left, so
more like 5.
To be hitting on the Elon thing,
we can talk about it.
Just to hit it because it's in the title. Where do we start with Elon? He obviously is backing out of the Twitter deal, like we all predicted from the very beginning. I have to say, I'm impressed that he was able to get out of the deal without pissing people off. He made it all Twitter's fault, which was a stroke of genius, I have to say. He basically was like, Twitter's been lying about how many bots there are, and therefore I'm putting the deal on hold. He's not going to do it. It's the dumbest thing ever for him to buy Twitter.
So there is 2 different schools of thought here. Like one, first of all, there's a termination fee. You can't just
$1 billion,
publicly
but that's
state.
nothing. Who cares?
That's a good amount of money. It's a good amount of free money for Twitter. You
I
know?
think in my opinion, no, it's great for Twitter.
Yeah.
But for Elon, I mean, we theorized that from the beginning he expected just to part with that money for whatever coverage and bullshit he's been getting.
I think the reason why it came out.
I don't know.
Okay, one thing I'll say about the Twitter thing is that like it was an incredibly like mind-bogglingly stupid thing to try and do.
Yeah.
And I think he was doing it for like short-term marketing benefits potentially.
Yeah.
But he does use Twitter as a way to boost his stock prices. Tesla stock is like incredibly overvalued regardless, right? And it's slated to continue being that way because it's treated as a tech company, so it has like this major multiplier. And he uses Twitter a lot to change the dynamic, or to like become newsworthy, or to even like reveal his like new inventions that he's never going to actually follow through on. So I think that's why he wanted to control and potentially manipulate public opinion, and you know,
It was worth $1 billion
realize the
for
benefits.
him. The coverage he got, the goodwill amongst conservatives he got. He probably made over $1 billion from all the.
I mean, who knows?
Shit he was able to promote.
Well, I think he like had to sell some of his stocks to be able to put like
Oh, you know what?
additional down.
And then also, another theory is that he sold Tesla stocks so he could buy Twitter.
Yeah.
But it's possible that, he never intended to buy Twitter, and he wanted to take a bunch of money out of Tesla without panicking people. So he paid a $1 billion tax to Twitter.
That's believable, I think. Anyway, but like, so he could have known what the percentage of bots was, right? I mean, that was literally in the contract, but he waived it, and now he's making a big fuss about it. But he's violated that contract, the non-disparagement clause, like numerous times already, like including I think like putting a poop emoji under the reply of like the fucking current CEO, which is such a weird concept to like go through in arbitration. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna have to, like a lawyer is gonna be like, well, Your Honor, the poop emoji in this circumstance was very clearly like a negative thing to say, and the other reason why he might be making a big stink about the bots is so that he can.
He gets out, and he's not the bad guy.
Shave like a couple billion. Well, he might try to shave a couple billion off the price because the original price that he gave.
The stock has gone down significantly since he made that offer, both his and Twitter's. As you guys know, the stock market has.
But the original price he was pointing to was like already super high, right? The original price he was pointing to was insane.
It was way above, yeah.
And that's what made it fall within the fiduciary responsibility of the board to like actually take seriously. If he had come in with like a lower price point for the stock, they could have had a better argument to say like, no, we don't want Elon Musk to take control. We don't want him to like buy out the company. But the number he gave was really high, so this is one way to like access that barrier. And now that the deal is slated to be completed, now he can like actually force to drive the price down. And then, buy it $10 billion cheaper. You know what I mean?
Well,
potentially.
Yeah, I mean, he's in a tough spot. Tesla's down 30% this month. Twitter's down 17%. But what was his initial offer? It was really high.
It was like $56 per share.
So now it's 38.
Like
That's a huge difference, man.
Yeah. It was in that ballpark in the 50-something.
Well, anyway, he announced, in the past I voted Democrat because they were the party of kindness.
So stupid.
But now they are the party of division and hate, so I can no longer support them.
By the way, this is coming literally after the Buffalo shooter did a gross white supremacist terror attack.
And I will be voting Republican.
He was literally just repeating like great replacement theory shit that you hear from Tucker Carlson every fucking night.
No, it's great.
And like actual Republicans all the time.
No, it's great. Just because liberals hate you, Elon, because you're a fucking like anti-union, basically slave driver, doesn't mean they're the party of hate.
That's the funniest part about this is that like Biden famously said in a closed door meeting to billionaires and millionaires that nothing would fundamentally change, and he was right about that. Nothing fundamentally has changed. But even the minor support that Joe Biden has shown to like Chris Smalls, shouts out to Chris Smalls of Amazon Labor Union, by inviting him to the White House is enough for billionaires to fucking panic because they're such little babies, dude. Like they literally run society.
Yeah, I saw a clip of, I don't know if you have this in here, of Elon was like, Democrats are too pro-union. Joe Biden has completely lost the plot because he's just slave to the unions.
Yeah. Like Democrats couldn't even push for a $15 minimum wage at the federal level and like used the bullshit procedural hurdles like the Senate parliamentarian to be like, oh, I guess our hands are tied. We can't do anything. Meanwhile, these guys are fucking freaking out just because Joe Biden says like labor unions are good.
I mean, he announced, now watch the dirty trick campaign against me unfold. He goes on and says, political attacks on me will escalate dramatically in the coming months.
You know what that is, right?
No shit, dumbass.
I think a SEC investigation is underway.
I've heard that. I've read that.
I'm just saying.
Oh, this is the perfect way to get ahead of it.
I'm just saying.
He's following Trump's playbook. It's pretty incredible.
Just saying.
He can't, like, what's he, the SEC is a feckless and toothless institution for the most part, but more power to them. I really do hope they get his ass.
Well, Howard responds, when you are explicitly political, you should expect people to treat you as such. What part of that is confusing to you? I'm not surprised at all. That was to inoculate the public. As a prominent vaccine advocate, almost using that like an insult, right?
Yeah.
You should understand that. Yale is the epicenter of woke mind virus, attempting to destroy civilization. Like, holy fuck.
When I think about like
wait, isn't
epic
Yale
woke mind virus?
Isn't Yale like legacy college, like old money, like
100%. That's exactly what I was going to say.
That was Yale.
No, when I think about
the epicenter of evil in this country.
When I think about the epicenter of woke mind virus attempting to destroy civilization, I think of the talent farm to the CIA. Like, this is literally like Yale is notorious, like Harvard, for having some of the absolute worst pieces of shit, like evil. Yeah.
Is he a Yale alumni?
Yep.
Hell yeah.
There you see.
Skull and Bones, baby.
Yeah.
These Yale is like, they produce these American psycho people, and they're like,
yeah, this is an institution
crazy, that's why they exist.
Prominently and very successfully indoctrinating people into the neoliberal capitalist, bloodthirsty, pro-American imperialist ideology on a daily fucking basis. But because Elon Musk doesn't even think about those sorts of things, he only thinks about it from like, oh, are they saying like, are they pro-gay? Well, there's the epic woke mind virus.
I think like Elon's posting at this point is like lol Pepe memes own the living at this point. Like it's so embarrassing. It's really cringe. He's like a child, and he's basically just posting Pepe memes at this point.
But his
the
fan base loves it. They eat it up.
No,
Look
the
at that,
conservatives-
77,000 likes, dude.
The
They
conservatives
love that shit.
fucking love it. But I'll tell
Yeah.
you what, I don't think conservatives buy Teslas, even loving.
I mean, I don't.
Elon.
It doesn't. You don't really need to sell Teslas to be able to, drive up the Tesla stock price. That's what I was kind of saying
Well,
originally. If that was the case, then-
Listen, I have Teslas. I've had Teslas.
Mhm.
I just pre-ordered the BMW new electric coming out, and I'm not going to be driving Teslas anymore. And once there's competition, I think a lot of people who have supported Teslas for the EV and the social movement of it are going to be having wandering eyes at the new vehicles coming out.
I personally don't think it's like you're doing like this. I don't believe in like adequate consumption choices like as a viable substitution for like labor organizing. But having said that, I think the Teslas are just dog shit in general. I like my electric vehicle, my Taycan, more than I like the Teslas. That's for sure. Someone who's driven both.
I'm very excited to get a different electric vehicle. So I think once more competition comes out, Tesla's going to fucking.
Well, it will destroy.
bomb.
It will destroy one of the main sources of revenue for Elon Musk for many years is the credit swaps like that they engage in. Like there's a carbon credit that that Elon Musk, like Tesla has been using by basically selling the allocation that like other companies are supposed to have with like EV and like lowering the carbon footprint.
okay.
That has basically funded Tesla for a very long time, like way more than the actual cars itself. Here, I'll pull it up. I'll pull it.
Actually, we're basically out of time, Hasan.
Yeah.
I want to watch this clip because it just shows what a piece of shit he is. It's only 1 minute long. This guy's a fucking.
And by the way,
animal.
Tesla has beat first quarter income expectations with more than double the previous quarter's carbon credit sales. So that's still like a main driver of revenue for him. Another government subsidy, basically.
Of all the other EV startups, which one has impressed you the most?
Well, I think the company making the most progress besides Tesla is actually VW, which is not a startup, but could be viewed in some ways as a startup from an electric vehicle standpoint. So VW is doing the most on the electric vehicle front. I think there will be some very strong companies coming out of China. There's just a lot of super talented, hardworking people in China that are strongly believe in manufacturing, and they won't just be burning the midnight oil; they'll be burning the 3 a.m. oil. So they won't even leave the factory type of thing. Whereas in America, people are trying to avoid going to work at all.
Move to China, bro.
What an insane fucking. First of all, I mean, shouts out to Elon Musk for his
American dream.
solidarity with the Chinese Communist Party. Okay, respect.
I'm glad he just said it though. He's like, listen, I expect my workers to work 22 hours a day.
Yeah, I mean, listen. All I'm saying is,
And not
he said
complain
he's
either.
pro-China, and maybe not so bad. Okay.
Like, dude, get a fucking grip, man. It's crazy that you think it's okay to just come out and say that. Like, holy shit, bro.
Also, you can't be pro-China while simultaneously fucking being like, oh, let's make boring tunnels instead of fucking high-speed rail. Like, because that is one really good thing that the Chinese government has done. Okay.
Or
Robust
caring about free
infrastructure
speech,
projects.
let's be honest.
He doesn't give a shit about free speech.
What?
Come on.
That's what he says he wants to buy Twitter for.
Yeah,
Talks
about it all the time. No billionaire has ever cared about free speech, dude. It's like such a dumb thing that like it's just a way to farm idiots to be like, oh yeah, he does care about free speech because they think like free speech is like saying hate speech with no consequences.
Yeah, it just means they want to say the N-word.
Yeah.
That's basically all that means.
Yeah, the guy who like fucking shut down unions and the guy who like was effectively sued by by the government for the horrifying racial conditions, like racial discrimination that occurred in his factories, is pro free speech.
All right, we gotta go. Hasan has somewhere to be.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching The Leftovers from our underground compound, shielded in lead. We have nuclear bunker doors. We are ready for the fallout, and nothing will ever shut us up. Ever. Thank you for watching. Stay strong, powerful, beautiful people.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. See you tomorrow, Friday, after dark. It's Friday, baby. All right, take care, guys.